Time for coach's comments here after the Stars' 6-3 victory against the Tri-City Storm here this evening. Lincoln able to pick up a win by scoring 6 goals in a game for the second straight time. Coach's comments brought to you by Southside Auto Tech. I'm Joel Norman, head coach of the Lincoln Stars. Rocky Russo joins us. And Rocky, boy, the offense is certainly becoming a theme for this team early on this season. You guys have not had a lot of trouble putting pucks in the net, and you kind of outdid yourselves in the first period this time. Last week, you had, 4 goals in a 5-minute span of the second period. Tonight, 3 goals in just under 3 minutes. What was the key behind that early blitz?
We talked about having a really good pace right off the hop, and you have a great opponent that's well coached, and you want to put some pressure on them right away and get them back on their heels. And so we were able to score a couple quick goals, but then we learned a really valuable lesson about getting ahead of ourselves. And we went from being up 3-0 to 3-2 quickly because we took the foot off the pedal a little bit. And so that was a really valuable lesson early on in the season, that you respect your opponent in all situations. You don't let the score dictate your compete level and your effort, and just you take a step back for 5 or 6 minutes, and all of a sudden they've put 2 pucks in the net. So that game could have gone a lot differently had we not refocused and played the way we did in the second period.
How big was that goal by Mason Marcellus late in the first? Made it 4-2. You had a little bit more breathing room. How big was that for the team?
Yeah, you know what? Mason didn't have the best first period, and the whole line didn't have the best first period, but man, they were great in the second and third, and they really responded. That's what veteran leadership does, and those guys are so valuable to us. But Mason and Doug both were fighting it a little bit early on, and so for Mason to find a way to put one behind the goalie late in the period, I think gives him a little bit of a relief and kind of gets him going back in the right direction. And if Mason's not having a good game, it never really lasts very long because he's such a good player, and so he's able to rebound quickly, and I thought he was fantastic in the second and third.
Someone who had a great game start to finish was Brennan Ali. 2 goals in this one, second straight game in which you have a guy go for 2 goals at home, third multi-goal game by a Star this season. You moved him around a little bit. You put him on that line. Obviously, things changed when Klaus Weinbergs got hurt. What'd you like about Ali, though, tonight?
Brennan just affects the game in such a tremendous way every single shift. He's such a great skater. He has such a powerful stride. He's physical. He's got a nose for the puck. He's an honest player, right? Like, that's just the best way to put it. He had some what I would call bad habits from prep school hockey early on last year and even at the beginning of this year, but he's cleaned those up so quickly because he's such a smart kid, and he understands that he can get a lot accomplished by playing a north-south brand of hockey, and so he's unbelievable valuable to us because he can play center, he can play wing, he can kill penalties, he's playing on the power play. He brings momentum back to our bench shift after shift, and now he's got a few goals in his last couple games, and he's being rewarded for that great work ethic.
2 goals tonight, 3 goals on the season. You mentioned his penalty killing. Obviously, he was a big part of that. You guys went 5 for 5 on the PK. What was one thing that really stood out from you, from what you saw from when you guys were a man down?
For the most part, we did a really good job of staying in lanes, blocking pucks. Tony had a couple big blocks. Moscow had a huge block there in the second that he kind of hit the dead spot on his leg, and he wasn't able to move his leg for a short period of time. But if I had a criticism of the PKs, we struggled to clear pucks at times, and that's something you've got to clean up because Whitey bailed us out tonight, but you don't want to put that undue stress on your goalie. When you have a chance to clear pucks, you've got to do it consistently, and those are early season mistakes, things that we'll continue to get better at. But all in all, the effort is there, the willingness to block pucks is there. I'd love us to win some more faceoffs. Tonight was absolutely our worst night on the faceoff dot, and it led to too many possessions for them right off the drop on the power play because we were losing draws clean. So that's something that we'll address tomorrow morning in video, and hopefully we can improve a little bit.
How nice was it to have Antonio Fernandez back out there? Missed the first 4 games of the season, but boy, you had to notice him if you were observing this game tonight. What did it mean to have him back on the ice?
Well, Tony's obviously, he brings another veteran presence on the back end, which right now we have no Lincoln Stars veterans back there without him in the lineup, and so he immediately brings a calming presence. He's such a great skater. He's poised with the puck. He makes good decisions. And we want him to be aggressive offensively and create chances and do those things. And so sometimes that means you're going to give a little bit up on the other side, but we feel like the payoff is worth it. And him having 14 goals last year is you want to let him go and give him chances to shoot. And I think obviously Cressberg-Rosine, once he settles in this league, is going to be that same type of player, and they could potentially be a really dangerous pair together.
What is that like, having two guys like that on the same pairing? You look at every level of hockey, you almost try to even things out. You have one guy who's almost a stay-at-home defenseman, one who's a little more offensive. Well, what's that kind of like for you, having two guys who have really similar qualities on the same pairing?
That means they might not play together for that long. But right now I like them together, and if they can figure each other out and understand that when one guy goes, the other guy has to be responsible, then they can play together. If they both want to have the giddy up going, then maybe they will need to go with somebody else, because they're both offensively minded and they create, and I don't want to take that away from either one of them because it's so important to our club. So we'll see, but right now they're together, and I think they did a nice job tonight.
Well, Rocky, thank you for joining us here on Coach's Comments, brought to you by Southside Auto Tech, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, taking on Tri-City again.
Thanks, Joel.